Pretty much the Vail Ski Resort is obviously located in Vail, Colorado. It's one of the best ski resorts in the United States of America, and it also has a ski terrain that is approximately 5,317 acres. Our location is approximately 1.5 to 2 hours from Denver International Airport, which most people will have to come in through that way. And it's also 45 minutes away from the Eagle County Regional Airport. The difference between those two airports is the County Regional Airport, it's only through domestic flights. Because most of the airports are far away from the ski resort will be providing shuttles, which is complimentary to the guests that will take them to and from the airport to the resort, from the resort to the airport. So during the peak season, the hotel rooms are very expensive because it's obviously very busy, and the more busy it is, the more money you can consume. So during the peak season, the rooms can range from maybe like 190 to 300. The ski resort has several hotels that they have. It's not just like their own hotel, but they partner with Marriott, they partner with Hilton and various other hotel companies. For example, they have a Ritz Carlton and anything else. So there's various options for travelers, such as families who will probably want to stay in like a smaller contempt hotel, in regards to somebody who has a luxury taste who would rather be in the Ritz Carlton. So the prices range from, if you would like a standard two-bedroom suite, it would be around $208 a night. Deluxe suite, which is probably a king or a queen bed, would be 230 per night. A studio suite will be the same exact price, but obviously, a studio suite is smaller, content for one person. And you could get the deluxe two-bedroom suite, which comes with two beds that are twins, and it comes with a living room, a kitchen, everything you would get on a regular basis. So, our resort plan and development. So we have different amenities that we have that are outside pertaining to the ground maintenance, but the biggest issues is keeping the snow out of the lodging facilities. So a lot of times, like the gift shops and all the other shops, the little Starbucks we have, or anytime, usually people are walking through the snow or going through a snowy area to get into these areas. So what our with our staffing, what they have to do is they have to make sure that the area outside is always, very smooth, not too much snow, that people don't bring in snow inside the facility, because obviously snow is water, and if the snow melts, water will happen and will make a mess on the floor, and then you'll have liabilities and lawsuits for people slipping on the floor. Another thing is the food and beverage era is the resort is not close to the main civilization that the guests will have necessities to be received in advance. So pretty much most places will have like a certain amount of food that they carry for their guests, because they only expect this however many people of occupancy. But because the ski resort is very luxury, we have to have a high food quality, we have to have high food profit and everything. So we have to make sure all the food that we have is continuous, because it's a ski resort, and especially during peak season you're going to have a lot of people who are going to ski and they're going to get hungry, and you just have to make sure you're on point. Another thing is that the biggest development for the Vail ski resorts are the lifts, which obviously the lifts bring guests up and down the mountains so they can go and ski from the top or wherever they would like. So one of the thing is we have 31 different lifts within a resort that we have that provide guests with transportation to the different skiing and snowboarding trails. So there's different ways that the guests can come up and down. So since we do have a high amount of occupancy all the time, we have enough transportation for the guests to go to and from. So our SWOT analysis strengths, I can say we have. We have our brand obviously is one of the top 10 most visited resorts out of all resorts, not even just ski resorts in general, all resorts. We also have a loyal customer base, so we have a lot of guests that continuously come back. They don't just come one time and say, oh, that was nice, let's go somewhere else. Once they come, we give them the best customer service from the time they walk in, and they continuously come in. What I can say our weaknesses are is we're very expensive. I can't say we are very expensive. I'm probably going to say the cheapest thing you will get is your room. That's the cheapest thing you would get. Because we are set at a high standard, we have to set our prices within the high standard. We are considered a luxury ski resort also, so you also have to remember luxury comes with the price. Another thing is we rely heavy on the mountain segment success. So based on the how the mountain is, the terrain, how steep it is and everything, we also base it on that, because if the mountain is not, smooth enough for the guests, obviously they can get hurt. So we have to also make sure that the mountain, which is a natural thing, is on point. Opportunities that we could take is increase our ownership of existing resorts. So pretty much we could try and, make, how can you say, loyalty programs with people. Like I said, we have a loyal customer base. Give them something to keep coming back, you know? And then continue innovation in resort operations. So pretty much we have to keep having something new, because every day another resort is doing 10 times better than the next one. So to keep that title, you have to make sure that you're on top of everything and that you keep up with the trends or make your own trend. Threats we have is difficult economic environments. So sometimes you have other places that have more money, or they have this and that. So we have to make sure that we keep up with our own ski resort and make sure our ski resort is number one at all times. And then also reliance on government permits. We also have to make sure that we are on top of our paperwork, make sure all of the reservation stuff is understood. You also have to remember that you have to make sure all your contracts, and make sure you understand the liabilities that come with situations. Try to not have different injuries happening. Try to make sure everybody's safe. And you also have to make sure to contract with the government, obviously, for the land itself and for ownership. It's 100%. So for our fall and summer activities, obviously we have skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, hot air ballooning, which is crazy because it's obviously cold, but we have that. We have a lot of stores for shopping, restaurants, and we also have a spa. In the summer, we have fishing, zip lining, hiking, mountain climbing, artistic events, and water rafting. And the best part about these two different seasons is even if it's snowing or if it's just a sunny day, you can still participate in the events we have. So, for the safety and security, one thing we have to make sure we're 100% on top of is the fact that majority of all our amenities and activities are at outdoors. So we have to make sure we pay attention to the guests and make sure that the guests are not getting injured at all. We provide the guests with the rules and regulations beforehand. We provide them with the protection, the helmet, the glasses, anything they need. And also, if they want a jacket or anything, they can rent it or they can have their own. But we let the guests know ahead of time what the weather is going to be like, because we're not going to have them out here skiing through a snowstorm. We're going to let them know ahead of time. Every day we check the forecast, because if it comes to find out that if it's a snowstorm or even if it's in the summer and it's going to be raining, we're going to suspend the activities for the day to avoid any liabilities. Also, we have to also make sure that we take surveillance and make sure that the terrain and the location of the resort makes everything 100%. Our target market. So our target is very marketable to everyone except the extreme skiers, snowboarders, and budget travelers. That's not it, because we're not an Olympic place. We're not going to have people trying to out ski others who probably don't even know who are learning, and then they get hurt And then you also have to understand, like I said, we are a luxury place. So people who are on a budget will most likely not come to us. So our target market includes families, people who love the outdoors. We have the skiers that are, just people who love to ski for the pleasure of it, snowboarders, people who ice skate, and then people who love to, experience different spas and relaxations, because you don't have to participate in the skiing, but you can also just relax and take part in the other amenities that we have. The environmental and employment concerns that we have is, if a snowstorm does arise, our business leaves, but also our employees are out of work. That is a problem. Just like as today with the coronavirus, like if the occupancy drops, we can't have guests. um we can't have the employees tending to imaginary guests. We have to have business in order to give our employees business. So that means most of the time, the if a snowstorm does come, then our guests are not here and our employees are out of work. Health risks that can happen due to winter sports could be a head injury, it could be a broken limb and a frostbite, which I said previously that we have to take precautions with the winter weather in general, and make sure that it's not going to be too cold, and make sure that the guests are 100% secure. Also, a large part of our workforce is full time, and we also have seasonal positions because, like I said, during the winter is peak time. So if we do have to hire more people seasonally, even if, then we'll hire them. Also, like any other resort, all of our employees get different and get various types of benefits. So we have insurance, health benefits, dental. They're also welcome to do the activities on their day off for free or reduced price. Also, just because our location is far, the employee retention rate is lower than other resorts. So that means that the resort is located around an hour and 45 minutes away from Denver. So usually, like, our employees will be housed at our facility, or they take the drive. So the pros and cons of our resort is, obviously, the pros: biggest resort and ski resort in Colorado, is known for the mountain to be groomed to perfection. We have a charming pedestrian ski town, so everybody there is nice. Everybody has great hospitality, and there's plenty to see on and off the slopes. As I said, you can go shopping, you go to the spa, you can indulge in some great restaurants. But the cons of our resort is, sadly, because it's very popular, it's very crowded, very expensive. It lacks abundance of the steep terrain sometimes. It's a very corporate type place, so um sometimes there is a lot of people who come there, but it doesn't really like matter, because at the end of the day we make our money. And also, if it is a snowstorm, sadly, the I-70 will be closed. So nobody's going home and nobody's going back to their house from work. Everybody's stuck where they are. Things that I say that we can improve basically is try to have more improvement, you know, try to have iPads in the room to try to keep, like, sometimes people don't want that interaction face to face, but we can try and implement the more technology side, because most people don't like to be bothered, so they can order their food through the iPad, change their temperature in their room, turn the lights on and off, and everything. Also, another thing we can do to improve is try to fix the rate for the ski resort. Try to do specials every now and then, because it is expensive and a lot of people would like to experience the ski resort. Also, another thing too we can try to do is make it a little bit more fun, because it is corporate based. A lot of people like to come for corporate events and team team management and all these different types of trainings they like to come do to, try to improve their business. And other improvements we can do, target demographic wise, we need to try to attract more millennials. That's what we need to do, because many times they want something affordable and we are expensive. So like I said, we need to implement some, you know, better prices. Also, we need to have try to make more budget friendly packages. So a lot of places put together packages for, you know, like for example, like you go to a hotel and they give you like 2 free tickets to Disney type stuff. So we need to try to make bargain with our guests. Also, in the long run, we need to start building a more social media preference. So try to get more marketing, young marketers who know how to use Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and not only just say, oh, this is what we have going on this month, but also try to show like footage and show physical things so the guests can see what they're going to do. And also, the generation now mostly pays for the experience. So they're not going to come to somewhere where they're not going to have a good time if they can't see they're going to have a good time. The second improvement we could do is our emergency route. Like I said, if there is a snowstorm, sadly, the I-70 will be closed in and out. So, what we need to do is try and create our own emergency route so the guests can feel safe, because most guests during a natural disaster or an emergency, they don't want to be in that place that they are. They would rather be home. So we need to try to figure out a way where our guests can feel safe but also comply with us and try to work with us for us to get them out safely. Also, another thing we need to do is try to be able to have a trust and a loyalty with our guests at the same time. Like I said, we need to try to keep them safe at all times. So if we have to try and talk to the city or try to talk to anybody who has anything to do with emergencies, first responders, to try to figure out a way we can have an emergency route for the guests to safely get out of a snowstorm, then we need to do that. Also, the route can also be used for food delivery. So if a guest does want some food that isn't from our city, if they would like something from Denver, that's on them. We need to also have a way for people who deliver to come in and out. And also, we need to have a way for our own food to get to us. So, when we get shipments in with our products or anything, we need to have a way for all our people to get in and out safely and everything. And that's it. Thank you.